The great controversy is evidence, proof of the great choice. Grace and peace, everybody. Welcome to Sabbath School Study Group. This is it. Part number 5 of this 5-part series. We've been looking at the war behind all wars. We start by going back to the war in heaven. And the lesson that it teaches us is it shows that this battle continues, but in effect, at the core of the battle, it is a struggle for our choice. But before we study, we want to thank you. We appreciate you watching. I hope you've watched all the studies. And if you have, please leave a comment, pass it on to somebody else, share it, hit the like button. But the big deal is that we've got to let everybody know that there's a battle. But even better than that, we can be on the winning side. Also, make sure you visit us online at changeministry.org. There's a whole lot more to see. In fact, we have an entire study on the book of Revelation. As we look at the book of Revelation with inspired commentary, you can grow in that faith. Check us out online, changeministry.org, and you'll see that there at the link below. The great controversy is proof of the great choice. If God was the God that the devil wants to deceive us to believe that he is, this belligerent or this distant being, well, why would there be a battle? It would have been a wrap a long time ago. But the fact that there's a struggle to make himself known to us, the fact that there's marketing, heavenly marketing, the fact that there is this big push to make himself known to us, and the greatest evidence of the push was him giving us his only begotten son, clearly there's a power that he has given to us. And it's the power to choose whose product, what presentation are we going to trust? Whose side are we going to go with? And it's why when you read now in Revelation chapter 12, it makes a lot of sense, where there was a war in heaven where you have Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. The fact that the battle doesn't end there, but it continues here, lets us know that God was like, no, there's something I need them to see. There's something that I need them to know, because he wants us to make that choice on our own. He has vested us with the great choice to choose whose side we're going to be on in the great controversy. Now, one of the reasons why you can know that you have a choice is because the loser in this battle, the dragon, Satan himself, Lucifer, he had a choice. Even he had a choice. In Isaiah chapter 14, verses 12 through 14, describing him, it says, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?" Notice how he fell. "Son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High." Who's on first? Who's saying this? It was his pride that got him to the point that he actually thought that he could do a better job at being God than God himself, which was impossible by definition. He's the Most High God. The least, or anyone other than the most, can't even you're no longer the most. The most means there's nobody else above. And Lucifer thought, he deceived himself, I can be better than the most. To the point now that this thought leads to outright rebellion. And the rebellion is evidence of a choice. He didn't have to go this way. So now when you look at the fact that the devil had a choice and he chose to go by what was in his heart, notice how that spirit, that mindset, but also that choice applies to those who choose to not serve God. In the scriptures, that mindset is described by different names. But in this verse in Isaiah, it's describing Babylon. And notice, this controversy proves even Babylon and those in it choose to be there. So verse 7 says, "And thou says, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore now hear this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me? Sound familiar? I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But God says, these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, aka the deceptions, because thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, nobody sees me, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, also known as your perception, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Babylon sounds a whole lot like Beelzebub, and it makes sense. It's the same spirit. It's the children of his choice. And Babylon says to itself that I can replace God as the Most High. A created human being can accomplish what the highest angel, the highest created angel in heaven could not accomplish. This is why, brothers and sisters, we've got to recognize that Lucifer made his choice and he suffered the consequences. Babylon, historically, made its choice and it suffered the consequences. The same thing is going to happen to spiritual Babylon today. But even in that happening, it reveals God's given us a choice. The battle is for our choice. The battle is for what we are going to believe and what we're going to trust. Now, in this battle, we already know who the victor is. And today, we can decide if we're on that side. Yeah, it's that simple. He turned away, meaning he could have turned to God. But now today, we can turn away or we can turn to God. It's the great choice. And that's why it's a controversy. And with all the marketing that heaven is trying to do, and even all the marketing that Satan and his demons are trying to do, they all reveal we got a choice. We have a voice, and we can choose what product we're going to go with. I pray today that we go with the one who made us, we go with the one who saved us, and we go with the one who's coming back soon. All for those who choose him today.